This is Meltdown Live, presented by MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag for double your initial deposit. You sign on to make a deposit, they double it with code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag.
Hump Day, welcome in. This is the Wednesday edition of Meltdown Live. You're here with us. Whether you're watching live or on demand, we really do appreciate you being a part of Meltdonia, a place that we respect and a place that we protect here in the Culver studio each and every weekday, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. Thank you for being with us. I am Tim Melton. Joining me here in studio is the lovable wonder dog boy that is Tyler Lionel Johnson. That hadn't gotten any better, has it? I'm still working on it. Tyler. I'm sorry about that.
Maybe if it wasn't dog boy and
Yeah.
you just went with one or the other.
I think you're right. I'm going to get it right tomorrow.
I'm either the boy wonder, like you're Robin, or I'm the super dog, wonder dog.
I can't make up my mind which direction I want to go when I'm saying it out loud, so you end up getting both, and I apologize. Okay. But you saw dog adoptions are way up based on crypto being such a big success here.
Yeah, in search results, phrases like adopt a dog near me, adopt a schnauzer near me, because crypto in the movie is a schnauzer terrier mix, and dog adoptions near me, related terms like that, have been up 500% compared to normal. So hopefully this means that there's some good adoptions going on, because we've seen this sort of phenomenon before with 101 Dalmatians and everybody rushing out to buy a Dalmatian after that, not realizing that you really need to be an advanced dog owner to raise a Dalmatian properly. Yeah,
you really. My hope is this isn't just a fad thing, and
absolutely,
these are animals that are loved for a long time. So that is a big
hope. We saw that
with
COVID too. People adopting lots of dogs during lockdowns, and then after the restrictions were lifted, you saw a lot of returns and abandonments, sadly. So if you are in a dog owning mood now after watching Superman, you want a little crypto of yourself, go adopt a dog. But make sure that it's going to be the right fit for you and your family before you bring it home and try and live with it.
We will be discussing today here on the live show exactly the story that crypto has associated with him in the movie Superman. It is going to be the lightest amount of spoilers that we've gotten into here on the live show. You've had about a week now to watch the movie. If you're an Amazon Prime member, you've had over a week. So I'm just letting you know that this stuff is going to start coming out anyway on social media if it hasn't already hit your eyeballs or you haven't seen the movie. So I do want to give that disclaimer that we will be getting into some light spoiler territory for a movie that is the number one movie in the country right now, that looks poised to have a pretty good second weekend too. We'll talk more about it in our Hump Day headlines, but I want to start off with something we weren't necessarily prepared for until about, 10 minutes before the show started, and that was the fact that they have released a teaser for a Johnny Cage movie that isn't a real movie, but that is part of the storyline for Mortal Kombat 2, which is a real movie. I compared it to Tropic Thunder, where at the beginning of that movie you get a bunch of trailers for movies that aren't real, but that you'd be like, you know what? Maybe I would watch that. The Johnny Cage trailer released today, even though it's not going to be a full-length movie. What do you think about the marketing strategy behind this Mortal Kombat 2 rollout, as we're expected to get a full trailer for the actual Mortal Kombat movie tomorrow?
I like the overall look of the trailer. It's just got that sort of 80s cheesy action movie vibe to it, which was fun, but I still really can't get behind Carl Urban as Johnny Cage. That's not because I don't think he'll do a good job in that role, because he's got the cocky, just sort of attitude that I think would work for that role. I just can only see him as Kano when he does his Billy Butcher voice.
Yeah, and I can only see him as Billy Butcher. The Boys has ruined a lot of things for me.
Yeah.
Because it's good, but I can now only associate certain things. Like there was a character in Superman that I could only equate them with what looked to be their twin from The Boys, if you know what I'm talking about, wearing all black.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't help but think about that throughout the course of the movie. But
I completely forgot about him. Yeah.
There's a viral video going around as well of a guy coming up to he was in the Amazon Prime screenings for Superman, and he came dressed as Homelander, and I'm like, well, that kind of tracks. I mean, you have to be a Prime member in order to be able to see this, so he may have been a plant, who knows, but I thought that was pretty good. But yeah, I'm hoping Mortal Kombat 2 is better than the Mortal Kombat that we got during the COVID era, and we'll see. But we're Mortal Kombat fans, which is why I want to start off the show with this. We are rooting for the movie to actually be good. We have seen poor Mortal Kombat sequels in our lifetime, and I'm hoping that's not the case here with this one.
Sadly, it probably will be.
It's not really the most high art.
It's got a bad track record. I have more faith in the Street Fighter movie than I do this Mortal Kombat movie, and I'm a much bigger Mortal Kombat fan than a Street Fighter fan.
If I was to ask you right off the top of your head, like, who are your favorite Mortal Kombat characters? Do you know right off the top?
Kenshi, Scorpion.
I like Scorpion as well.
I like Sonya a lot. Not Johnny Cage. He's never been even like top 10 for me.
Growing up, I was a huge fan of Reptile. Reptile was my man. Yeah. And then I got good with Scorpion and never looked back. But Reptile was always my guy growing up, especially Mortal Kombat 2 at the pizza place. I mean, I'd play as Reptile all the time. I thought he was the coolest character in Mortal Kombat 2 for sure. So, but yeah, I mean, we all have some sort of special place in our heart for all of these characters. I believe there was a character in Mortal Kombat X named Aaron Black who was very interesting.
He was like the Western gunslinger guy.
He like became everybody's main that played like the specialty tournaments where you're actually competing for prize money and all that stuff. But yeah, Mortal Kombat deep roster there, and I always love what they do, bringing in all the downloadable characters and stuff like that, as long as you don't mind paying a whole lot of money for them.
Yeah, Kratos was a lot of fun to play as with Mortal Kombat 9, and then that one also had Freddy Krueger, I think.
I love Jason in Mortal Kombat X, and I would love in this Mortal Kombat 1, which I owned on PlayStation. I sold my PlayStation. Ghostface is a downloadable character.
Yeah, let me look up the list, because I've still got Mortal Kombat 1. It'd be fun to bring it in one day and see if we can mess around with some of the DLC characters.
It would be.
It's got Omni-Man.
Mm-hmm.
It's got Ermac.
Homelander.
Sector. Yeah, let me just go to the guest characters. It says Conan's in there, but I thought he was in the last one. I don't know. Ghostface. The T-1000. And, Ash from Evil Dead.
Yeah. Always fun seeing what they bring in with the roster and the crossover and all that stuff. But if you are a fan of sort of morally corrupt superheroes, you get your fix there with the characters in this year's DLC. Let's go to this. I got to ask you, Tyler, I know you're a big fan. One of your favorite working directors today, if not your favorite working director today, one of them, Robert Eggers.
Yes, I saw this.
He will officially direct Aaron Taylor Johnson, and I've heard Lily Rose Depp as well.
Yes.
Who were in Nosferatu, one of your favorite movies of 2024, in Werewolf, a new period horror drama set for release on Christmas Day 2026. So, your Christmas 2024 was spent soaking in all that Nosferatu vibe. I have a feeling you will be seated in 2026. Christmas season, cold, your favorite time to just walk in there and watch a Robert Eggers clinic, and he's going to be doing a werewolf movie. You all about it?
I am all about this. I'm not sure how I'll like Aaron Taylor Johnson as the werewolf, but you know what? He wasn't half bad in Nosferatu, so Robert Eggers can maybe coax the best performance of his life out of him. I love Lily Rose Depp in this movie.
She was fantastic in
Yes,
Nosferatu.
she was
really good.
absolutely stellar in Nosferatu. Although I am somewhat sad we don't have Anya Taylor-Joy back in the Eggers verse.
That's fair. And who knows who else will be added to the cast? I mean, Willem Dafoe's going to be in there, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think he had already announced that he's going to be a part of like the next two Robert Eggers.
He just can't be like a werewolf hunter. He's got to be like,
oh no, that's too basic.
Part of the Afflicted or something. I don't know. But anyway, there we go. That'll be a fun one. And who knows? Maybe it'll be the best werewolf movie we've seen in I don't know how long. I mean, it has been a long time since we've gotten a good werewolf movie. And I'm talking about one that's like actually prestige level good werewolf movie.
Okay, because I was about to ask if you enjoyed any of the Underworld movies.
No, not my thing.
I didn't either. There's some people's cup of tea.
They are. I'm not one of those people. Let's go to
It's
this.
probably been since An American Werewolf in London then.
It's been a long time. I like Monster Squad very much.
Wolfman's Got Nards.
Wolfman's Got Nards. I know there's the Jack Nicholson movie. I think it's called Wolf. I think it's just called Wolf. That it's not bad, but it's not really one you go to for a rewatch quite often.
Wolf from 1994, starring Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah. I love Wolfman lore, but I have not enjoyed a lot of what we've gotten here lately. So hopefully Robert Eggers can make it happen for us. I want to go to a movie that I know I love, and that is Black Swan. It is getting a 15-year anniversary IMAX remastered re-release on August 21st and August 24th. This is one of those movies where I'm like, is there enough of an audience to support a re-release for this movie?
I think it would be a better re-release, and before people say, "Oh, it's because you're this kind of fan," well, hang on. Perfect Blue, a Satoshi Kon movie, yes, an anime movie, was essentially the original Black Swan. There are some very similar shots in Black Swan as in Perfect Blue, and it's a very similar subject matter. Perfect Blue is about, in this case, a pop star who has a stalker, basically.
I think they are trying to re-release Black Swan to hype up Darren Aronofsky's new movie with Austin Butler.
Yeah, Caught Stealing.
Caught Stealing, which honestly does not look very good to me. I've watched the trailer numerous times. It doesn't do anything for me.
It looks like Aronofsky tried to make a Tarantino movie.
That sounds right.
I'm not sure if I'm vibing with that, because I prefer him doing dark psychological stuff.
Yeah, this definitely looks like very unlike Aronofsky, and I think I will enjoy the Black Swan re-release more than that new movie.
Mm-hmm.
As it launches on over 200 screens, Searchlight says the remastered version will be an opportunity to experience the film's full cinematic scope and depth for the first time ever in the IMAX format. Black Swan is on our big board of things that I would like to have, but I remember seeing it very clearly in theaters. Saw it at the Lee Branch location that no longer exists, and afterwards walked out, not a soul in the theater. Completely pitch black dark, no employees, nothing. Walked to the parking lot, it was eerie. I mean, it was really one of those weird movies where...
That's a regular occurrence for that theater.
Yeah, which explains why it's no longer with us.
Yes.
But that was pretty jarring.
But in related IMAX news, and I'm sorry if I'm jumping the gun here, but tickets for
You are jumping the gun.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But it's okay. No,
tickets
go
for
it.
the Odyssey already on sale for IMAX locations, 70 millimeter.
Now, let me ask, when you are about to expose your tiddly bits, do I rip your blouse off? I don't do that.
No,
right?
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I thought I was making an aside, and then I realized that I could be stealing your thunder.
No, you're good. I'll explain why the rhythm of this matters here in just a little bit. But you're right. Tickets for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, they go on sale tomorrow for just the 70 millimeter IMAX showings. So, doesn't really affect us here.
Well, unless we want to take a field trip.
That's true. But can you imagine holding on? Like, I haven't really seen a strategy like this employed where a year out you can buy your ticket. And I do wonder, like what we saw with the Interstellar like resell moment, if that's part of this, of like,
Could be.
let's go ahead and create some weird demand for this movie right out of the gate, because they go on sale literally in a couple of hours tomorrow.
Yeah. I might try to snag a 70 millimeter ticket.
In like a big market.
In like a close theater to us.
Oh, to go see it or to resell
yes,
it?
to go see it. I'm
thought
not
you had your
gonna get
reseller.
into movie ticket reselling.
I thought you okay. You
yeah,
gotta.
I know, I get it. I understand. You thought I was I'm a businessman and I saw a business opportunity, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I don't like ticket reselling not because of any moral quandary or boundaries I have in my my reseller's code, but just I don't want to take the risk.
How are you going to pull it off though? Because I mean, I guess here's what I would say: if you were to do the reselling, how would you even pull it off? Because you'd have to have it to where you can transfer it. You can't transfer it through the AMC app,
Right. You would have to buy from a separate party, I guess.
like a third party, or actually at the theater. I think they only go on sale at the theater themselves too. Is that right or wrong? That may be wrong. I may be making that part up. But I thought that they were maybe trying to, like Nolan was trying to bring back that old school energy, and like you got to show up to the theater to get your ticket, and you got to go like wait in advance and stuff like that. I don't know. But I'm excited for this movie, obviously. It'll be my most anticipated movie of 2026. Because anything Christopher Nolan's attached to, it means so much to me. So we'll see if the Odyssey can keep the streak going.
Have you read the original Odyssey?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
No, I'm trying to go in as fresh as possible. Let Christopher Nolan take me on a deep sea adventure, and I'm looking forward to it.
Fair enough.
One reason why it was so important to go from Black Swan to this next story is because it's another story that features an animal in the title, and that is My Little Pony. A live-action movie based on My Little Pony is in the works from Amazon, MGM,
Oh no, please.
and Hasbro. Now, Tyler, we've talked reselling here. Okay, have you ever resold a My Little Pony thing? Because there are what are they called, bronies?
Yeah, I have not. I don't know anything about what would be a hot commodity in that community. And that's because I stay away from that community.
Okay, got it. Out of respect. Well, when you're going to try to watch your werewolf movie.
Oh, yeah, I had that thought too. Like, the Minecraft kids were bad.
Yeah.
Excuse me. The Sonic fans were bad. The bronies. AMC Summit is not ready for it. Just not ready for it. Think about it. There's going to be like a church small group going to see like the newest Angel Studios release or something. And then in the theater next door, you've got just a bunch of 40-year-olds dressed up like My Little Pony characters. And doing God knows what to that popcorn bucket.
There's a flavor for everything. And this has been a very... This version of the Meltdown today needs a hot shower. It needs a hot shower, but the live-action movie based on My Little Pony is coming out there.
I just looked at the chat. Hunter says, live action, hard pass. As if to imply that if it was a traditionally animated My Little Pony movie in the theaters, he'd be right front and center.
Maybe he's a brony and he's never told us, which, you know what, we support, whatever your lifestyle may be. But
No.
I'll never understand it fully, but I know it's a thing that exists. So there you go. Stranger things have happened, and that is where we're going to next. I'm going to make sure now every single one of them has a segue.
What a segue. I love that.
Stranger Things 5 trailer has come out here with season 5. I haven't watched it. I'm not a Stranger Things fan. I understand the cultural significance of it, and that is why it is a headline that is featured here today on these Hump Day headlines. But I'm not going to go back and rewatch all of Stranger Things to get ready for Stranger Things season 5. I was exhausted by the first season and a half that I watched. Wasn't my cup of tea. Don't know why. I really tried. just did not like it. I didn't like sort of the Winona Ryder, like just sort of looking around the entire time and just being like, you know, she's just
She does a
constantly,
lot
like,
of that first
listening
season.
to the walls and like looking at lights, and I'm just not my thing. Didn't like it whatsoever, really. So Stranger Things 5, the trailer's out. I've heard people are excited about it. Heard that it looks good. I've also heard a lot of people that are like, okay, it's time to start wrapping this thing down, including, I don't know, all of the middle-aged cast. They are very much, I think, ready to move on. People are like, I saw a comment, it's like, oh, somebody's big's probably going to die this season. I'm like, you think? I mean, it's like, this is it, right? I know there's going to be spinoffs and there's going to be, they're going to keep the franchise going. But this is a goodbye to the traditional main storyline, right? That's what this is.
Supposedly.
Unless it breaks all types of viewership numbers and
yeah.
all of a sudden the Brinks truck gets backed up again.
I know to avoid this problem in the future, they have announced that there's an animated series. It's like Tales from the Upside Down or Tales from Hawkins, something. I can't remember. But it's going to have all the original cast voice acting their characters instead of actually playing them. So they can avoid the whole looking like they're 30 thing completely. However, I'm ready for this show to end. I started watching it when it originally came out on Netflix, and I was a junior or a senior in high school, and now I have a job and pay taxes, and the show still isn't over. Those kids are still in high school solving mysteries.
That's a great way to put it there. Jay Bake in the chat saying, have y'all seen that Freakier Friday movie trailer by Disney that should not be rated PG? Unfortunately, yes. I've seen that trailer way too many times, and I'm just, every time I immediately check out. It makes me angry again about Halloween Ends. If you ever want to really get me upset, just say Halloween Ends. That movie is god-awful. As a Halloween fan, I cannot think of a bigger slap to the face of the franchise other than, I don't know, maybe Halloween Resurrection or Halloween 6 or Halloween 5 or Halloween 3 or Rob Zombie's Halloween or Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. But other than that...
Oh, if you really want to upset Tim, walk up to him and say, you enjoy the Rob Zombie Halloween movies, and they're the ones you grew up on.
Let me give you my first impression of Tyler. Okay, story time here on the Meltdown. I meet a very young... Tyler, who's full of life and hope and energy. And I come up to him and I go, you know, Tyler, I'm really excited to work with you. I've heard some great things and I'm really excited to make this happen. Scott, by the way, got weirdly offended by that I didn't say that same thing to him. But anyway, Scott is like he's the least offended of anybody I meet, but he got offended by that. I don't know, it's weird. So that put us off on a rocky start.
It's like, what, you didn't hear anything about me?
Yeah. So and then Tyler, we get to talking and we're talking about our favorite movies. I love Halloween. Halloween's so good. And Tyler's like, I love Halloween too. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be like a fast friendship. And then you got to talking about the Rob Zombie version. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Are we talking about the same movie here? And you're like, oh, yeah, the Rob Zombie version is my favorite version. So at that point, I knew that we should do a pop culture podcast because, my gosh, we're going to have some differing opinions on things. But that movie really hurt when I saw it the first time. And I thought, wow, it doesn't get lower than this. And then I saw the second Halloween movie.
That one is rough. For the life of me, I couldn't tell you how that movie actually ends because there's two different versions and neither one of them makes sense.
So now every time I see the Freakier Friday trailer, all I'm going to think about is how Halloween got massacred multiple times throughout its course of its history. So thanks for that, Jay Bake. All right, we go to this. Another J name, Joaquin Phoenix, coming out talking about how he admits that his infamous 2009 interview with Dave Letterman was horrible, adding, it was so uncomfortable, I regret it, I'll never do it again, I'm so sorry. Now, Tyler, do you know anything about this interview?
I don't.
It's fascinating.
Oh.
You're not really a late night guy. You don't like late night television. You think the format is something that should be as extinct as the dinosaurs of Jurassic World and its franchise that's gone off the beaten path. And I don't totally disagree with you other than I have an affinity for it. I was raised on it. I studied Carson like a hawk. I studied Conan like a hawk. Like these
Now,
guys.
I did like Conan. I watched Conan occasionally when
Conan-
he moved to TBS.
Conan got screwed, and I'm just going to say that again. I'm still not over that 2010 dilemma with Jay Leno. Conan got absolutely screwed, and I will continue to fight for Team Coco every single day that I can. But anyway, Joaquin Phoenix was promoting a movie that he was doing with Casey Affleck, where it was a documentary.
Okay.
But Joaquin Phoenix had decided that he was going to quit his acting career, which was just white hot. I mean, off of Walk the Line and all that stuff. White hot acting career. Gladiator. The Master, I think, came out a few years later, actually. But he was going to become a rapper. And he was very adamant about how he was going to become a rapper. And he was upset that nobody would take him seriously. And he was upset that the paparazzi had followed him around and mocked him in his rapping appearances that he had done. Now, when you think Joaquin Phoenix, I'm sure you think like awesome rapper, I'm sure. But he was committed to this bit. But what it was him and Casey Affleck had come up with this stunt where they were going to trick the world into thinking for multiple years that Joaquin Phoenix had gone off the deep end and wanted to become a rapper. The movie was called something like I'm Not Here or something like that.
Okay.
And he went on Letterman to promote his lifestyle change in character of this like selfish jerk rapper that was not really going to sit up there and cut up with Letterman the way Letterman wanted to cut up.
I'm trying to find a picture of his like rapper image.
He had a really grizzly beard. He had black glasses. And
I thought, there's no way this is it. But yeah.
What they wanted was the tabloid media to follow him and basically talk about how he had lost his ever-loving mind. And that would be the big hook of the movie, is like a way to turn the mirror onto the vulture media and say, haha, y'all fell for it, basically, while also treating it as like a social experiment. And they did it, and the movie came out and it landed with a thud. No one really cared. No one saw it. But the Letterman interview became like iconic because it was so uncomfortable. And Letterman basically was like ripping him apart for not participating in the interview and killing time, and it was super cringy to watch. It was a very tough thing to watch. And no one really knew what was real and what was fake and what was going on. And, you know, Joaquin Phoenix now has a lot of regret over that, but at the time, it came across as just very, very crazy. I don't know if anybody in the chat remembers that specific interview, but
I've got the picture of the Joaquin Phoenix, rapper.
Yeah, that's him.
I really am just bewildered and speechless.
Yep.
This is not a good bit. I've never been a fan of the whole social experiment stuff.
Yep.
Because it just seems like you're just really committed to a bad prank. And that's what this seems like.
Jeff says, I remember it well. I would love to see him and Letterman. Like, Letterman does some stuff for Netflix where he's like, My Next Guest Needs No Introduction, that whole series, which I think is actually pretty good. I think it is maybe a little bit too overproduced. Like, it's not, you know how like in a podcast, you get to sit down and it's like a raw, just unedited, long form, you get all the mannerisms, all this stuff. I wish they would do that more with Letterman. I think it's a good product. I just think it's so overproduced. It's got so many cuts and so many things. It's just, you can't really get to the real thing with that format. But anyway, I would love to see Joaquin Phoenix on that and them talk about how just awful of an interview that was. But I have a feeling that David Letterman does not want to share the room with Joaquin Phoenix again, ever again.
He probably doesn't.
You really need to watch that interview because it gives you a new appreciation for someone like Jim Dunaway, who constantly has to, be in situations where it's somewhat awkward, and how David Letterman handled it, I thought was actually pretty good on Letterman's part, but Joaquin Phoenix did not benefit from that at all. All right, let's move on to this. It's one of our main stories today. the Zelda movie, we have a casting for both Zelda and for Link. You'll have to help me here with the names. I don't know if you have them right in front of you. Bo Bragason is the casting for Zelda.
That was how I read it, yeah.
And Benjamin Evan Ainsworth, which is much easier than I remember it being, which is why I guess I don't need help on that one, cast as Link. I don't know either one of these individuals, but obviously these characters are very important to get the right casting because these are characters that are going to hopefully make up a universe that we see multiple entries with these recurring castings happening. We've seen so many franchises trying to get up off the ground where it's so important with a young cast to get it right. Harry Potter obviously is one where they benefited from getting it right. Hunger Games was one where they benefited from getting it right. But there have been a lot of young adult sort of things that have not really worked out based on the casting not working out. Divergent being one of those. Maze Runner maybe being one of those.
Yeah, they made sequels, but it never
really caught on.
Yeah, never really caught on. But I also wasn't a fan of the books either. That was one of those young adult series, along with Divergent, that I just could not get into.
This one's going to be very high profile. Mm-hmm. I actually, not to steal from Hunter Bussey here, but I think I would have preferred an animated movie rather than a live action Legend of Zelda. I think I would have preferred something like the Mario movie, not in tone, but in the Mario movie was like this perfect introduction into Nintendo, and it was for kids, and it was great. I would love maybe like a very intense PG, maybe light PG-13 Zelda, but animated. Mm-hmm. And it's weird because I typically am the type that's pushing for live action everything, but I actually would prefer an animated Zelda story here. What do you make of the wait around this? Because they have spent a long time searching for this cast. Mm-hmm. A long time. They want to make sure they get it right. It comes out May of 2027, which sounds like it's a far, far away time, but it's actually still like 5 months ahead of the Batman Part 2, which breaks my heart. But anyway, what do you make of this whole Zelda enterprise they're trying to build up?
I think you can do a lot with the Zelda material. That being said, I agree with you. I would rather see this animated. I would rather see a studio take the time to really make a faithful animated adaptation of something like Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask. It's just going to be so hard to go fully into the world of Zelda when you're limited by real-world limitations. That's why you can get stuff like Across the Spider-Verse that sort of even bends its own style and medium in a way. But with this, you are stuck in the real world, and
let me ask you this. I feel like this is a good starting point for us, too. Jumping off point. No one's been more critical of How to Train Your Dragon's live-action release and what it's done at the box office more than you have, because it hasn't really flirted with that $1 billion that potentially it could have with the launch of the theme park and everything. We've talked about it over and over and over again. You saw that movie. You liked the movie.
Oh, yeah, I think it's really
solid. But from a business proposition, you've had questions. Does this movie, the Legend of Zelda movie, face the same sort of uphill battle, in your opinion, as the How to Train Your Dragon live action? Is it going to appeal maybe too much to just boys, or do you think it's going to skew its audience, or do you think that that's a complete unfair comparison?
It's going to have problems convincing general audiences that it's good quality. And that's because, one, it's a video game adaptation, a live action video game adaptation at that. And number two, the production is being done by Sony. Now, I have gone to a lot of Sony-produced video game movies. They are not very good. And
putting it kindly.
Yes. But the good news with Sony handling production is they're going to cheap out on this movie and not make it, $120, $200 million budget. And so you might get something like the Until Dawn adaptation, where it can kind of please some fans, but it just never really catches on, and it's just seen as another miss.
I wonder, are they going to go for kids, or are they going to go for adults, or what are they going to, like, I don't know, what is it going to be, families they're targeting first and foremost, or is it going to be, we're really going to make a PG-13 epic that doesn't pull any punches? I don't know. It's tonally going to be very interesting to see which direction they go there, but that Sony superhero verse that they built out was really a lot of filler. And I hate to do this, but if you need some fillings, head on over to our friends at Alabama Dental Associates. They'll take care of you. That's Dr. Jeff, Dr. Brian, and Dr. Nolan. They are on a quest to make sure that your mouth is taken care of. They provide all sorts of services when it comes to staying on top of your dental health. Who knows? Maybe you've just moved here to Central Alabama. You have found our lovely little corner of the internet, and you're going, you know what I need more than anything? Yeah, I need a pop culture show here based in Birmingham, but I also need a dentist that I can rely on. Well, guess what? We have the perfect team up for you. That is Alabama Dental Associates teaming up with us here on The Meltdown. Whether you have major work that needs to be done, or who knows, maybe you just need to be on top of those regular cleanings. They give you this nice little card to remind you exactly of when you are due back in. Head on over to Alabama Dental Associates. Give them a call, 205-956-8977, or visit alabamadental.com, where they look forward to seeing you. Okay, we're optimistic and hopeful about the Zelda and Link movie. But
I'm seeing reports that budget is $120 million for this.
Seems low.
Seems low if you're looking to faithfully recreate a world like that. But I don't know. I feel like $120 million be a really nice budget to work with if you're going for an animated Legend of Zelda.
I really do think that animated is the way to go with this.
I think so.
With this franchise. I mean, I feel like there's just so much more you can do, and visually it can represent exactly what people already love. And
plus, you've got Universal working on a Donkey Kong movie now. So, you know, eventually you can work your way up into a Super Smash Brothers movie.
You could if it was animated, like you said.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, I don't know. I'm that's the one part of this that doesn't get me as excited. I wish it was an animated family affair, because I think my daughter would be first in line for a ticket if it was that case. It being live action, I think it skews a little bit more towards, you know, like that How to Train Your Dragon live action release.
So I just realized this. How is dialogue gonna work? Like, how is that gonna be believable for anybody? Because Link doesn't say nothing. He just goes, yeah,
Well, that's gonna have to change.
and smashes pots. Is there gonna be some pot smashing?
Well, you know, Mario doesn't say a whole ton either, but they made that work with, but once again, animated, you know, but they had it work with him saying stuff and talking long form, and, you know, they're going to have to end up having him being able to have a monologue. So we'll see. All right, let's talk about the current #1 movie in the country. That is James Gunn's Superman. We've talked about this movie a whole lot. We've seen it a combined 3 times, as it is set to top the box office yet again, aiming for a $55 to $62 million haul in its second weekend. Anything better than a 60% drop, I think, is a win for Superman. Superhero movies are typically very front heavy. What's been interesting about this superhero movie compared to the last few that we've covered is I actually have heard from a lot of people that they not only are planning to see it again, but a lot of them have already gone to go see it again. I do wonder what kind of repeat business we're going to get with Superman.
I might go again this weekend after we've knocked out the new releases.
I want to see it again too. I want to let it marinate, and then I want to see it again. It's not a movie that I feel like has a ton of layers, and I know that sounds like a shot, but I mean, you really do just jump right into the action. It's very straightforward with what it's wanting to be visually and with all the different characters out there. I'm not sure how much more Like when I went and saw the Batman, I think 3 or 4 times in theaters, like I felt like every time I got an extra layer of depth.
Okay, that's different. I think the Batman is a movie where you want to let it marinate, and you want to, go down those YouTube rabbit holes of theory videos and explanations and everything else, video analysis. I don't want to do that with Superman. I just want to go back and see it again because it was fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I'm alluding to with you. I mean, like, this is not a movie that is it's not really a thinker. I mean, it's very much just eye candy. It's sugary sweet. Visually it's very much an adrenaline rush, but there's just, I don't know. It's just not a very deep movie. And I'm not saying that's a negative. I'm just saying that I think a lot of people are wanting that experience, especially in the summer. Go get your popcorn, go get your soda, and go on a thrill ride here. So we'll see if it's able to stay in front of that 60% drop number. Anything 59% or better, I feel like is a big win for Superman in week 2. So we will see. James Gunn today revealing the Supergirl teaser poster, which flips the script on the Superman look up tagline. And I actually love it. I love that.
Too.
The tagline has been changed to look out. And if you've seen Superman, this is where we're going to start getting into some slight spoilers. If you've seen Superman, you know why it's look out. Towards the end of the Superman movie, you get the appearance from Supergirl, who's been promoted as being in the movie for a long time, but I actually forgot watching the movie that Supergirl was going to pop up. It's also made very clear that Supergirl is the owner of Krypto. And Supergirl and Krypto on screen together a year from now, I think is going to do some good things for the DCU. I think we will get a young Krypto. I think there will be a flashback sequence here. James Gunn has been very adamant about not needing to tell origin stories for like the main characters, but I'm not sure Supergirl will fall into that. I think that you may get more of the Kryptonian lore that was maybe missing from this movie visually. And I think you're going to get a young Krypto, which is going to make audiences even more like, imagine a more puppyified version of Krypto. I think it's going to be a whole nother wave of Kryptomania.
Yeah.
And a whole nother wave of plushes and all different toys and like, I want the baby version. And it really is going to be like a Baby Yoda moment 2.0 with what we're going to think. I think we're going to get with Krypto and Supergirl. Now, there's one thing I think I've messed up, and that is Supergirl's original title
was Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow.
A month ago to the day, James Gunn announced it's just going to be Supergirl.
Yeah. He said he was tired of the whole name, title deal.
I did not get that memo until we already went live, so you're seeing the old title there. But a lot of people are still, and I don't even want to change it.
You're absolutely right, and I never even noticed.
Perfectly fine. Don't even fix it.
I typed it in.
Yeah. If we fix it and then this whole conversation happens, people will be like, oh, it looks good on my end. Just leave it the way it is, and I'll take the loss. But, yeah, James Gunn, he's doing this thing now where he comes out with this long title, and then he changes it pretty much right before the release.
Superman was Superman Legacy.
It was, which I don't hate, but Superman's a much cleaner title. We've actually never... If you think about it, we've never had a movie named Superman.
That's true. The first one was Superman, the movie.
Right. So it kind of gets away with it. And people, even if they want to call it, they'll call it Superman 78 and Superman 25, People use the years now. The only one I've ever hated that has done that is Scream. Because Scream is iconically associated with 1996. And then for Scream 5.
Scream 5, yes. They made...
They just called it Scream.
Yeah.
And I hate it. I hate that they just called it Scream. Because there's already a Scream. And it's not like a reboot.
It's like how Final Destination 4, I think, was the Final Destination.
Yeah. I don't know. I keep the numbers going in those series, but That's the only one that's really upset me. But anyway, this Supergirl poster, what do you think of it? Because I think it looks pretty good. There's one element of it I'm wondering if you've noticed, but what do you take away from this Supergirl poster as we're getting our first look here at a character that was introduced really to us a week ago?
I don't know. Is there a particular element you're focused on?
There is, but I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but like,
it looks like she's got a slushie.
Yeah. More specifically, though, am I wrong in that her hands are bloodied? Like, do you see blood on her hand?
Hang on, I can't see it in my preview window.
I got you.
I'm gonna have to pop it up and zoom in.
You do your thing.
Do a little zoom and enhance.
Do your detectiving.
Zoom and enhance. Zoom and enhance. Okay, come on now. Yeah. Those are some battered fingers right there. Holding a blue raspberry slush. My personal favorite flavor.
Once again, we're getting into some spoilers here based on this character of what we've seen in Superman. So if you've already been here this long, you've already heard us talk about a couple of them.
So I have heard that the inspiration for this movie is the storyline Woman of Tomorrow, hence the previous title. I have not gone into details, so I cannot confirm this, nor do I really want to, because I want to go in fresh.
Yeah.
I've heard this is a John Wick-esque tale for Supergirl.
Okay, that adds up. But I guess here's
Lobo being the main villain.
Really? Okay. This is what I don't it's what I don't know where they're going to go with this, right?
Yeah.
Supergirl, played by Millie Alcock, who I, once again, love the casting. If you've seen House of the Dragon.
She is the best part.
I think so.
I've always preferred season 1 over season 2.
Yeah.
And I think Millie Alcock's performance is part of that.
She plays a young Rhaenyra, and she crushes it. Absolutely crushes it, to the point where
when season 2 hits, you're just like, dang.
Well, midway through season 1.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a time jump.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa. The
Give me Millie Alcock again.
The Rhaenyra I cared about is just gone all of a sudden. It's like, whoa, okay. And it takes you some time to get used to it. Both Rhaenyras are fantastic, but it took me some time because Millie Alcock I thought was fantastic. So her being cast as Supergirl, I'm all for. I think that's a great casting. What is going to happen with the rating on this movie? Because Supergirl's a party girl. She's going off and getting hammered drunk, right? Are they going to go more the Suicide Squad with this in tone? Or is James Gunn going to stick to that whole like, hey, we're going to make sure this is a family-friendly thing? I don't think there's any way they can get away with making this R-rated. I think they've got to make it PG-13.
Oh, I had heard that it could go light R because of the subject
It could, but doesn't that...
It immediately cuts your profits by a large percentage.
Like,
so I wouldn't think they'd go that route.
You're going to have an R-rated movie with crypto in it.
Yeah. I think you go heavy PG-13 because Lobo's a pretty violent character. And if this is the John Wick-esque story that it's rumored to be, then you're going to see Millie Alcock absolutely mollywopping folks.
I mean, I think it's an important distinction. If they go R, it's a very big swing. It's like, are they trying to create a Deadpool situation? Or what are they trying to do here? PG-13 makes a lot more sense because you want as many eyeballs on it as possible, and you want people going to see it post-Superman. But I'm trying to figure out the sales pitch to a family, right? That's like, hey, this girl's going to go flying around the galaxy going on a bender and then is going to murder everybody. I don't know. It's like...
Well, I think if you're pitching to families, you don't pitch Supergirl and Lobo anyway.
I know, but once they get in the theater, you have to do something narratively. Like, you don't want another Batman Returns situation on your hands where, like, McDonald's is pulling advertising money from your studio because they feel like families are being morally bankrupted.
That's true.
The tone of this is going to be fascinating. I'm really interested. The poster tells me this is going to be fierce.
Yes.
I just don't know to what level, and I'm very fascinated by that from a business perspective. Is that fair?
That is very fair because, I mean, going R-rated means you're only going for the hardcore comic book fans pretty much because general audiences are not going to go for it. R-rated superhero movies it's a wild swing to take, but it can work out. Or you can end up with a huge bomb that only sees life on pirating websites like Kick-Ass 2.
That's not a bad little comparison there, but Supergirl, we're going to be there for it, but will it be full of kids like what we saw with Superman a week ago? Will it be full of older adults that are there wanting to relive their childhood heroes, fantasy storytelling? I don't know who the movie's going to be made for.
I think this works if you just go for like a violent PG-13 sort of style. I
guess so. Because the marketing for this will be fascinating.
The writer of this is also, she's already turned in a draft of a Teen Titans movie for the DCU. And if this takes a just sort of PG-13 kind of edgy vibe to it, then that would be perfect for Teen Titans.
Yeah. I couldn't care less of what they decide to do, whether it's like super intensely violent or if it's just sort of, like Dark Knight. The Dark Knight's a very violent movie, but it's PG-13. But like, I
don't want to see them go the boys route with it.
Right. As a consumer, I don't care. But as a wanting to understand the business moves here, I am very fascinated with like, what are they going to do? Like, I'm not one of those that's going to be like, oh man, I'm worried about having to sit down for the Supergirl movie. That's not me as an audience member, but as a person who covers the industry, how do you market this movie? Because they're already giving it a pretty hard edge. Even in the Superman movie, it felt like, whoa.
Oh yeah.
Like, and I think that at that
She's
time,
stumbling into the Fortress of Solitude drunk through the wrong door.
Yeah, I mean, and she just appears a little trashy, and you're just like, whoa, okay, this is the route they're going, and I don't know how families even currently feel about that.
It's like Kryptonian Ruth from Ozark.
Yeah, that's not too far off. Speaking of Superman, by the way, Warner Brothers has Superman sequel options already built into the deals for David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan, but an announcement is reportedly not imminent on Superman 2, the sequel happening. Now, I think it's going to 100% happen. But what is supposed to be announced very, very soon is a Wonder Woman movie being put into development. So, and this would be one that does not feature Gal Gadot, does not feature Patty Jenkins. So this would be a full, fresh reset on Wonder Woman, who's going to be what looks like the exact opposite of Supergirl based on the way that they are going to present the characters.
So that series, I know James Gunn was interested in making a series about Themyscira. Is that still on? I think it was called Paradise Lost.
I think that everything until it is started to shoot.
Okay.
And even once look at Batgirl. It started to shoot. Until we see an official image or trailer, I would just take everything with a grain of salt, especially in superhero cinema. I mean, how many times have they gone to these expos, Disney, and announced the Blade movie? Now, we know that that's a whole different type of story there, but I don't know.
See, what gives me hope about a lot of these sort of auxiliary projects, like Teen Titans, for example, is James Gunn said nothing will be officially announced or worked on until we have a script and a solid plan.
Yep.
He says it's hard enough to make a good movie when you already have a good script to work off of. It's nearly impossible to do it if you are shooting and making up the script as you go.
And that's a shot at Disney.
Yes, that is 100,000% a shot at Marvel.
Which, by the way, Avengers Doomsday right now is supposedly facing that exact problem.
Well, yeah, because Spider-Man Brand New Day is also being worked on, and they're like, well, how much of a role is Spider-Man going to play in Doomsday? And what's going to happen at the end of Doomsday? It's just a big mess.
Big mess.
Big mess, because they've gone back and forth on Brand New Day. Are we going to do a street-level movie and introduce somebody like Kingpin or Scorpion, maybe bring Vulture back, something? Or are we going to go big multiversal story again? And all the reports from that production has kind of been like, I don't know, why not both?
It's been a problem.
Yeah.
Continuity, consistency, and the multiverse has been that big eraser in the sky that can come down and fix all the problems. And pretty soon, they're not going to be able to get away with that gimmick. I think they're already past being able to get away with it financially, but like people will turn their back on if they just erase a decade worth of viewership in one single stroke. So we'll see.
Well, that's what Secret Wars is going to do. It's going to reset the universe.
They better do it right.
They keep running into the Dragon Ball Z problem. We beat the strongest guy in the world. Now we got to fight the strongest guy in the galaxy. Now we got to fight the strongest guy in the universe. Now we got multiverses.
Well, part of DC's problem was the Snyderverse. And there are a lot of fans of the Snyderverse. Hats off to you. I was not one of them, but Zack Snyder was asked about James Gunn's Superman, what he thought of it. He said he was not able to see it on opening weekend because he had a horse show. His kids ride horses. He said he was going to try to see it right after that. Well, it's Wednesday here.
It is Wednesday.
I don't know if we've heard a follow-up. I don't know if James Gunn's Superman has been seen by Zack Snyder yet or not. So we're on Zack Snyder watch. We're on Snyder watch to see what he thought of this movie. Zack Snyder did say, however, that Rebel Moon, the franchise, is currently on pause.
Oh, no.
He says he's waiting to see how we want to and in what way we would move forward, if at all. I got sidetracked into this LAPD SWAT movie for Netflix, so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to just sort of let that Rebel Moon world boil for a minute, and I'm going to do this. And frankly, it was a very exhausting, long process doing the two movies together, so it was nice to have a bit of a break from it. I love it like crazy, but it's nice to have a bit of a break. So yeah, we'll see after I finish this, when I come back, where we are with everything.
All right, a few things.
Yeah, I'm glad you are.
Let it boil for a minute. He said it like he was cooking up something. My guy, what you served was raw. It was slop. There's a reason that nobody, well, I shouldn't say nobody watched it. I do know some people who watched the Rebel Moon movies, and it just looks absolutely abysmal. Why would you ever watch this? And then he throws out the director's cut. You mean that didn't reignite interest in the franchise? You're telling me that the Netflix director's cut didn't work?
I'm letting you cook. The Rebel Moon franchise, will we ever see another entry in it? I don't think so. I personally don't think so. Now,
final note, LAPD SWAT movie for Netflix?
Yeah. But you know what? I'm way more excited about than anything Rebel Moon. Like, I'll watch the Zack Snyder LAPD SWAT movie. I really loved his, is it Army of the Dead? The movie set in Vegas with Batista that came out a few years ago on Netflix. Zombie movie. I thought that was fantastic. Really, really enjoyed it.
Oh, okay.
Had a great trailer. One of the best trailers I've ever seen. It was Kenny Rogers the Gambler set to, this zombie mayhem. And it was such a fun movie. And I was like, this is the Zack Snyder I love. Visual eye candy, not having to rely on building really a distinct universe, even though he had a spinoff right after that, trying to build out a universe. But I don't know. I like when Zack Snyder does these one-offs, and I think Zack Snyder's best when he's doing one-off adaptations.
I agree. I like Sucker Punch.
It's not my favorite, but yeah. Visually that movie is stunning.
Yeah.
I just think narratively it sucks.
That no, you're not wrong.
But anyway, Zack Snyder's out there.
That's the best Zack Snyder to me.
Will we see more Rebel Moon? I don't know, but the fact that we're debating this at this point just goes to show yet again how big of a failure the Snyderverse was. The fact that this is where we are with Zack Snyder, where we're debating whether or not he's going to make the third one of these horrible movies. So, I don't know. It's sad. Next, something we do love, The Penguin.
Yeah.
We're hearing now that season 2 is definitely possible. That is what HBO's Casey Bloys has said after the show earned 24 Emmy nominations this week. 24. Matt Reeves, though it's been said his priority needs to clearly be the Batman 2, I don't disagree. Let's get that thing going. I would love nothing more than an announcement that we're moving the date back up. But I do love the Batman movie coming out in October, so I'm willing to wait maybe until 2027. I just got to stay alive that long. This is what Casey Bloys had to say. Quote, "The number one thing right now that Matt Reeves is dealing with is getting the movie going. I believe they're making progress there. I know that he and showrunner Lauren LaFranc have talked about various ideas. So could another chapter be in the future? Definitely possible. Right now, I think the priority for Matt is the movie. But I know that Lauren is thinking of various ideas that might work alongside the movie. I think it's possible. I just don't know at this point." I'm going to say something that's not very controversial, but that needs to be said because it hasn't been said this point blank. There has not been a superhero spinoff from movie to television that has gone as well than the Batman to the Penguin.
No, there hasn't, and I think that's actually a pretty low bar.
Well,
now that I think about it.
Let me go at it is a low bar, which is why it's not a controversial take.
Yeah, but the Penguin cleared it by miles to
Correct.
being just a very, very, very good show, just put up against your other primetime HBO line.
Here's what the Batman and the Penguin did that none of these Marvel shows have done. The Marvel shows needed movies to validate the existence of the television shows. The Penguin validates the existence of the Batman. Does that make sense? Let me try this again. The Marvel movies had to justify why they were getting television shows. It's like, oh, hey, we're going to put this little nugget in here because there's going to be a spinoff that you care about. The Penguin series, not that the Batman needed permission, but it gave it extra richness to where if you watch the Batman and then you watch the Penguin and then you watch the Batman again, everything enhances everything. It's like all these different flavors.
Okay.
Like Oz is a more important character in the Batman because of who he is in the Penguin.
Yes.
Like when you go back and rewatch it, you're like, that like it blows your mind. The first time you saw the Batman, you're like, oh, he's a side character. He's great, but he's a side character. And now it's like, no, this guy's running the show in Gotham. He's the man. And it just has enhanced the movie so much and that world so much to where we want more of both. We want more movie. We want more television series because the consistency of quality between the two, there wasn't a drop-off.
No, not at all. The only complaint I think either of us had towards the Penguin was the recasting of
Falcone.
Yeah, of Falcone. And that's just because John Turturro played him in the Batman. Didn't want to return for the Penguin.
Yep.
And you still need Falcone to do the Penguin. So anytime that he was on screen, you would just instantly go, well, that's not John Turturro.
Correct. And I equate it to how I felt with The Dark Knight, where I'm obviously Batman Begins is my favorite Batman movie ever. I think Katie Holmes is, for her range especially, which I don't think is like intensely, she's not looked at as one of the finest actresses ever.
Right.
I thought she did really good in Batman Begins. Like she made me care about that character, and I rewatched Batman Begins a week ago and still cared about that character. And I didn't feel that same emotional attachment to Rachel Dawes' character in The Dark Knight because Maggie Gyllenhaal approached it as in like a little bit more of a, I don't know. I don't want to be too critical, but it was just like,
it's almost, her
girl
version
boss.
Her version of Rachel was like colder.
It was.
Like I felt like Katie Holmes' Rachel loved Bruce throughout that whole movie and everything was out of concern.
Right. And I don't understand why you'd have multiple men risking life and limb for Maggie Gyllenhaal in that role.
Correct.
But I understood it with Katie Holmes.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking visually. I'm talking about just emotionally connective. Like, it felt like Maggie Gyllenhaal tried to, like, actively push every one of these guys away. And it's also like, well, okay. I mean, there's a million other options. Katie Holmes, I can understand. She's kind of like fiery, but she's not. Anyway, it's a whole nother thing. But, yeah. But The Dark Knight is still amazing. The Penguin series is still amazing, even with the recastings there. So I hope it does really well at the Emmys, and I'm rooting for it pretty hard. Speaking of the Emmys, I just want to point out a show that we have not seen. This is my last story here today. On these Hump Day headlines, the studio, which is the actual name of the show, the studio, broke an Emmys record previously held by Ted Lasso. The studio had 23 nominations. Seth Rogen's Apple TV Plus series is now the most nominated freshman comedy in Emmys history. I have heard wonderful things about the studio. I have heard I would love the studio. I, for some reason, refuse to pay for Apple TV Plus.
Same here.
And I don't know why that one is the one that's the run of the litter for me. I got a free trial through my PlayStation where I started watching some stuff on there, and I liked some of the stuff. I watched some Ted Lasso. I liked it. It was fun. Didn't love it. I watched The Morning Show, which I liked, didn't love. I tried to watch Severance, didn't like that one at all, even though it's now getting tons of acclaim. But I just haven't circled back to paying for Apple TV Plus. I just don't feel like I can do it for some reason.
I don't have anything Apple, so
I don't either.
I mean, not even at home.
Correct.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, like, I don't see any ads for Apple TV Plus. None approach me. So, like, do any of them hit any of your feeds?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm watching live sports and I'm seeing it all the time. Stuff like that.
Fair enough.
But
yeah,
I'm not seeing like it promoted at the theaters. Even though, hey, did you see the car commercial in the middle of the trailers?
Yes.
Okay. So
I honestly didn't believe you. I thought you were mistaken on something.
I know.
It's like, there's no way. They wouldn't do that.
Hey,
they did it.
I'm one of your colleagues that doesn't have to eat a gummy before going to the movies to enjoy it. But no, it was really there, and I think it's going to continue. I think this is just the start. You're about to be like to where you can't. Now you're going to be to a point where unless you walk in right as the movie starts, I don't think you're going to be able to avoid the commercials. I wouldn't be shocked if we get to a point at some point where the movie's interrupted by a commercial. And I'm not even kidding. I'm talking about in the future, not right now. But Tyler,
No.
I'm just telling you.
I will start pirating everything again.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's what they're pushing you to. So there we go. The studio. Congratulations to it. Once again, 23 nominations there on the comedy side, breaking a record for a freshman comedy that's nominated there at the Emmys. And then the Penguin getting the 24 Emmy nominations, really rooting for it pretty hard. So that's going to do it for today's show. A lot of entertainment discussion there for sure. I want to point out to everybody on Friday's show, we're going to be doing our Meltdown movie midterm. This is where we take a look at the first half of the year. We're going to have different categories of different things that we're going to praise, different things we're going to eviscerate, talking about where we've gotten from January 1st, 2025 to July 16th, 17th, 18th of, it'll be July 18th of 2025 and where we are a little over halfway through the year and look back at the journey we've been on and give out our grades. So I'm looking very forward to that. That is Friday's show. Make sure you do not miss that. Tyler, I know it's always a fun conversation.
Oh, it's always a fun conversation. We go back through all the movies we've seen so far, and there's always a few in my list where I go, oh yeah, that exists. And those are always fun conversations to have. How many movies do you have in your list so far?
Well, I've filled out half of my list so far.
Well, I meant in your letterbox.
In my letterbox.
Yeah.
I don't know that answer right off the top of my head. It's probably a third of where you're at. Okay, so I'll go ahead and point that out. It's a third of where you're at.
I was just looking for a ballpark.
I'm going to say probably 30.
Okay. 30 is a good amount. That is probably It probably gives you a good mix of good movies, great movies, mediocre movies, and bad movies. And
Where are you at?
So I'm at like 75 or a little over.
That sounds
and so you think, oh, there's so many hidden gems you can see. There's a couple. Most of it is just like where Tim has like the worst movie he's seen of the year. I've got like 50 feet of crap beneath that.
That is fair. That is fair. And you know, I've made the decision in my life that I'm going to try to at least have some threshold of hope when I go into a movie, even though I did see Materialist this year. Okay.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah. Hey, there's still a showing today if you want to go check it out. This may be the last day you get a chance to see it.
Oh, well, we better wrap this up now.
We better hurry up. That's going to do it for us today. We want to remind you that you can bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. They're at MyBookie.ag, our title sponsor. We appreciate them. There with promo code NEXTROUND, you can get that first-time deposit bonus. Make sure you do that. Sign up ahead of football season. You're going to have a lot of fun this upcoming college football season. Our team has been covering SEC Media Days. We appreciate Baptist Health sponsoring that. And our team returns back to the studios tomorrow here at home base, minus Emily Grace McWhorter. She's staying out there, still doing a lot of the heavy lifting over at SEC Media Day. So we will welcome her back to the Meltdown on Monday. I know she's going to hate missing that midterm that we have coming up on Friday. I know she's going to be really upset about that.
Well, this probably is like the most movies she's seen in a year.
Superman and F1, you're right, too. That's it. But she loved both of them. She said 100% happiness,
That's
right?
That's true.
So she's good.
That's what I'm saying. Seeing 75 in 6 months isn't the greatest thing in the world.
She's very excited. I've got to answer this question before we go, though. Smuff in the chat, did you guys see the Naked Gun popcorn bucket? If you mentioned it, I missed it. We did. It is a giant beaver, and you eat popcorn out of the back of it, and it says on there, "Nice beaver." And I'm glad that we were able to talk about it today because I didn't want to carry that over to tomorrow. So we'll do it right here at the end. But
I'm buying one.
I'm sure you are. I'm sure
that one's funny.
You are. Yeah. They understood the assignment there with the Naked Gun. I have a feeling the Naked Gun will be something talked about probably on Friday with our midterm because it's not just movies we've seen, it's movies we are looking forward to as well. So a lot to digest there on Friday's show. And we'll have even more pop culture conversation here around the campfire tomorrow, live 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern.